Welcome to the REKAP Lunch Hour with Guff. Me, Ryan McGuffey, brought to you by our fine partners at Hooters. Visit one of the Chicagoland's 11 Chicagoland locations, originalhooters.com. Happy hump day, happy Wednesday, happy Cubs offensive explosion, because that's what they are. Sorry to keep you waiting, by the way. Got other people in here doing other things, just making sure we're maintaining our schedule around here for the REKAP Lunch Hour. The Cubs offense is historic, folks. Historic. Yes, I said historic. They did it again last night. They've had 2 games at Wrigley Field this week that probably most teams won't see one of. Friday and last night are 2 of the best games at Wrigley Field you'll see all year. I think. I'm not sure anymore. There's a boatload of comments coming in. The real Phil Simms, who said he was there last night, bumped Friday for Arizona. We were there last night. Best win of the year. But Jed has to get a starter third baseman and fix that bullpen. No doubt. Has to fix the bullpen. Gage Workman, inexcusable error. I'm with Cap last night on the recap. For those of you who checked it out, it's on the channel, about 10,000 views or so. If Matt Shaw just wants to come up and play solid defense and figure it out at the bottom of the lineup, I'm fine with that. At least you got a solid defender. You can't have the errors. You can't have both, a bad bat and be bad defensively. You can't do it. So I know Workman has to be on the roster all year because he's a Rule 5 guy, but this is about plugging that gap. You can't be bad defensively if you're already bad offensively, and that's where I'm with Matt Shaw on that. Bring him up if that's the guy. But what they're doing, Kyle Tucker, my God, he is the best player in Chicago in a long-ass time. You got to go back to the 16 Cubs to at least have a conversation about superstar in this town, but I think he's better than Chris Bryant. He is. He's better than 2016 Chris Bryant. I will go on record with that. And the Cubs, through 25 games this season, this is from OptaStats, the Cubs have hit 37 home runs and they have stolen 35 bases. They're the first team in Major League Baseball history to have at least 35 each through 25 games in a season. I told you they're historic. They are historic. Eric, my man, 2 games in 5 days. We just saw pure excitement from the Cubs. What a comeback victory last night. Bullpen still needs to be fixed. Also need a third baseman. Workman not good. I think there's a theme here, right? There's a theme. Pablo, I'm at the eye doctor and my eyes are dilated, so I can't see much. But man, oh man, am I happy to hear the REKAP Lunch Hour. Thanks for the show, Guff. That's good stuff. Thomas, Dodgers haven't announced who's pitching yet. That should be illegal. I was looking at this earlier. I'm guessing they're doing a bullpen game. It's weird to me that it is TBD. The White Sox doing a bullpen game today up in Minnesota. So, yeah, Eric says the real Phil Simms, 100% agree with you that last night was the best game of the year. I still think Friday would like to say hold my beer on that. Becky says, what a game last night. I agree that it's probably a bullpen game. They did sign Michael Fulmer this morning, former Tiger. Fulmer and Boyd, Matthew Boyd, who goes tonight for the Cubs, former teammates in Detroit. Javier Assad, unfortunately, Becky says she thinks he goes to the 60-day IL. Tough to speculate right now on that, but he did leave his minor league start last night with an injury. Obviously, not good news for a team that's really looking forward to getting him back, which, again, I've said it, and I'll scream it into the clouds. Chris Flexen has a .4 ERA in 4 starts in Iowa. I think he's ready to make the move. Phil says they better win tonight since the Dodgers are having a bullpen game. Now, keep in mind, it's no lock just because a bullpen is pitching that you're getting a win. You're getting guys at 1-inning shutdowns. Somebody's going to have to bridge that gap. The Dodgers certainly have depth in that bullpen. If I were relying on a bullpen not to get it done, the White Sox don't have the bridge as much as the Dodgers do. It seems like, oh, yeah, the Cubs offense can just go off, which, by the way, that bet of the day, which we'll get to later, that cashed in the first inning. Where's the podcast? What are you talking about, Clyde? We're here. I'm a sad Dodgers fan, but please talk about the Bears. Chris, we will be getting to the Bears here in just a minute. I want to talk about some speculation that's going on, that's running rampant. We're expecting a wild night, according to Ryan Poles, who met the media yesterday. Adrian says apparently the Bears made a call to the Giants for pick 3 because they like Abdul Carter, but the Giants said no. Also saying that might look to trade back and looking at tackles. I'm hoping they stay at 10 just because I just made a few futures bet for who gets selected at 10. But I see, if I were truly betting, and I am, I would be not stunned at all if the Bears moved back. I don't want to move up to 3. The Giants supposedly said no. Cap just read it to me here a few minutes ago. They said no to the number 10 and 39 and 41 to move up to get Abdul Carter. The Giants are linked to Abdul Carter right now. I could see the Giants. Everyone's like, oh, they need a quarterback. This quarterback draft stinks. Okay. If there's anything that were to happen, and I'll bring this up tomorrow when Cap, myself, and Alex Brown bring you Recap Football Draft Night Live, brought to you by our new partners, Lakeside Bank, which is just breaking news here on the Recap Lunch Hour. We're excited about that tomorrow at 7 p.m. I could see the Giants trading back into the first round to take a quarterback like Jackson Dart. GM Joe Shane's daughter goes to Ole Miss. I think he's been having a couple of extra trips down there. I could see something like that happen, and at least it's not more of a reach at 3 to take a quarterback like Shedeur Sanders, like Jackson Dart, because it seems to me that's a big, big risk. Adrian, I'm with you. Let Matt Shaw play third. Godfather says Ricketts getting away with no third baseman because everyone is going to catch up with him. We'll see. But I think if you have Matt Shaw there, at least he plays the position. I haven't looked at what Matt Shaw is doing in AAA Iowa. I'm going to look that up right now because I don't think it should matter all that much. I mean, unless he's striking out a ton. But Matt Shaw in 10 at-bats, unfortunately, has just 1 hit. Okay? He has 1 hit. He has 3 walks. Here's the good thing I like to see. No strikeouts. He has not struck out. So he's teeing the ball up. They're just not finding a spot. So that actually doesn't concern me as much as I would think. Guff, are you ready to trade up tomorrow? I don't want to.
No.
I don't want to trade up.
Giving away your draft capital.
There's Cap back in the background. I have been very. This is one of the few times ever that I've been extremely consistent on my draft analysis here. Stay at 10. Let the chaos ensue ahead of you. Let the desperate GMs, Jerry Jones out there saying we got a whole bunch of calls. Let that old man figure it out and jump ahead of you and do something stupid, because something stupid ahead of you is going to equal something great for you. And that's where I don't want the Bears to pounce on stupidity because everyone else is doing it. That is not what great organizations do. Great organizations dictate what they want to do, period. If you're that set on Abdul Carter and you feel like when you look in the mirror tomorrow that he's the guy that you got to go get, fine. Ryan Poles, do it. It's not what I would do, because I think in this draft, you can get starters at 10, 39, and 41. I think it's a lock. I really do. And so why give that up they need edge rushers. There's no one out there disputing that. Okay. Are you willing to give up 2 more starters when you have problems at tackle? There's a lot of good football players in this draft that play offensive line and running back, which ironically are the 2 things the Bears are targeting. It's the deepest running back draft in 25 years. Read anything or anyone that's been doing this a long time. There has not been a draft class like this for running backs in 2 decades. I understand Ashton Genty's really good, and maybe he's Saquon Barkley. I'm not going to poo-poo the idea that he's the next Barkley, McCaffrey, super great running back for 5-6 years. Okay, I won't poo-poo that. I think Caleb Williams is going to be the next great quarterback. I do. And I think there's a lot of damn talent out there that can play the position you need to take him and your entire offense to the next level while keeping your picks, or possibly adding more because teams behind you call and say, look, we want this, and you can fall 5, 6, 8 slots back and take Josh Connerly or somebody else like from Oregon who the Bears are really high on. Christian, the Cubs are for real. What's up, Eli? Clyde, your podcast always ignores me. You're damn right. Every day we talk about you. You have to click the notification to get the podcast when I subscribe. Clyde, I don't know. I think it seems like a flaw, man. It seems like a user error, brother. We call you out every single day and twice on Sunday. Kyle Tucker is a genuine MVP candidate. I'm going to ask this question right now without looking at the odds. I'm going to look them up. I think Kyle Tucker right now is the MVP of the National League.
Definitely.
I don't even think it's a debate. And my guess and my hunch here is that he is right now the favorite. I'm looking as we speak because he has what that offense has done and how guys have been able to respond behind him. Aaron Judge is the favorite in the American League. Remember a couple of weeks ago when I said Kyle Tucker at 13-1 was juicy? He's now 4-1. Shohei Ohtani, whose numbers are better than Shohei Ohtani? Pete Crow Armstrong. Fernando Tatis is having a ridiculous year. He is tied with Kyle Tucker right now at 4-1. Kyle Tucker was 13-1 like 2 weeks ago. I made a look at Cap and said, we should bet that. I didn't. And now I'm kicking myself because that dude's an MVP. I was heartbroken on the Byron Buxton catch against the White Sox. Yeah, that dude is a White Sox killer. Benintendi smoked that ball. That ball was getting to the gap. He was at minimum a double, if not a triple, would have tied the game. Just an unreal catch by Byron Buxton. Unbelievable catch when the White Sox had the Twins on the rope in the ninth inning with really good plate discipline and at-bats. They walked a couple to get to Benintendi, and that's when you're going bad, that's what happens. When you are going the way the White Sox are. The White Sox had 10 hits. They had bases loaded, nobody out last night, got one run in the ninth. They had first and third in the fifth, nobody out. Strikeout by Luis Robert, 6-4-3 double play by Andrew Vaughn. I'm about done with these guys. Well, I'm about done with those guys who every single time should be getting, at worst case, a fly ball to bring a run in. It's ridiculous. Adrian, the thing is, the issues with the Cubs can be very fixable. They can finally be the team who benefit from being buyers. They're going to buy, guys. We've been saying it for weeks. This team is buying. They know what they have. They have a team that scored 10 runs. I believe I saw it 7 times. The Cubs have scored 10 runs 7 times this year. Do you know the next closest team has done it 3? That's how good this offense is. Happy Wednesday to you, Kyle. These games have been heart-pounding and glad the Cubs came out on top. Let's keep it going on the north side. Go, Cubs, go. Becky and Christian, a little hello in the chat. I like that. Workman looked like Brooks freaking Robinson in spring training. Is it nerves or is he really this bad with the glove? Here's the deal, Terry. Spring is spring. Prospects are prospects. Workman was a Rule 5 guy. The Tigers left him unprotected for a reason. I'm not saying that Workman can't work out, okay? But this is the big league. This is every day now. You're seeing unbelievable pitching. There's no time for flaws. You can't afford to cough it up twice in a game. You can't. The Cubs, they got power. They got the speed to be the best in the National League. We know that song. Love the swagger of the Cubs. Haven't seen anything like this since the 2016 season. Agreed. And we spent a lot of time, Cap and I, with that team. They liked each other a lot. And that does matter, by the way. And this team likes each other a lot. And there is swagger. PCA, to me, is the new Javi Baez. That's who PCA is. In terms of not take the ball player away from it. But when Javi was second in the National League in MVP, in 2017, I think, 18, something like that, his swagger was so defined. Every night there was a tweet about, look at this tag, look at this slide, look at what he's doing. That's who PCA is. He's got the blue hair. He's running around the bases during a home run, doing this kind of stuff. He's flipping. That's who PCA is. PCA is the new bias. They were missing that last year, the last 2 years. Not to mention, he's a damn good baseball player too. You can have cool, calm, and collected guys like Ian Happ who just go out there and do their job. Even Kyle Tucker's not a rah-rah guy. He goes out there and just rakes. But have you been noticing what Kyle Tucker's been doing? Did you see what he did last night in the 8th inning when he hit the homer? That bat went straight up in a flip. There's emotion there, okay? There's emotion there. You might not get it in the media, and that's okay. Not every guy is going to be that guy, but you're seeing it with some of these other dudes. You know, PCA can be that dude. You can have veterans behind the plate doing ridiculous things like Carson Kelly and Miguel Amaya are. Cubs didn't have to face Snell at all this year, and this is the last game against the Dodgers for this year. Hey, let's not talk about who the Cubs miss. The Dodgers miss guys too. The Cubs have played the Dodgers 7 damn times. They've played the Padres 6 times. Everyone's been, the schedule. This team's really good. They are really good. And if people who aren't believing it need to wake up, because May, if you want to bitch about the Cubs and their schedule, then do it in May. Because if they don't coast through May. They got the Marlins twice. They got the White Sox. They got the Reds twice. They got the Colorado Rockies. You want your reprieve? You want to kick your legs up? You want to breathe a little bit? It's in May. That's the reward for just doing it all in April. Everybody plays everybody. That's no longer an excuse. You can't say the Cubs have the hardest schedule. You can say the Cubs have the hardest schedule in April. I would argue that the Cubs got a huge break by playing these teams right out of the gate. I think it's a really big break that the Cubs were able to kind of get into a playoff atmosphere right out of the gate in Japan, here in Chicago, on the road on the West Coast. I really believe that. We barely talked Bears. There's going to be so much going on. And you know what? I have a feeling that we might get some Hooters tomorrow night during the draft night show that we're doing with Alex Brown, me and Cap. Yeah, I have a feeling. 1 of 11 Chicagoland Hooters, originalhooters.com. If you want to pick it up to go, that's an option too. Order.hooters.com. If you're going to Hooters, they got the big spring beer specials in those Big Daddy mugs. The seasonal specials on tap: Dos Equis, Blue Moon, Summer Shandy. Everybody, Summer Shandy. The idea that Summer Shandy is available, by the way, just tells you what's coming around the corner. The tender tacos, now that we're past Lent, melt in my mouth, $10.99. And the cinnamon pretzel bites, a McGuffey family staple to polish off any meal. The little sweet to end. And if you like the sweet and the heat, the mango habanero sauce, that's where you want to go. OriginalHooters.com. Find the closest Hooters to you and get yourself going with some Hooters. Let's keep it going here. Kyle, so ready for the draft tomorrow. Know there will be one head-scratching pick as the team will show their desperation and go into panic mode. Remember last year that being the Falcons when they drafted Michael Penix? Now, fast forward 12 months, it doesn't look like it was that crazy. The crazier thing might have been signing Kirk Cousins to a $110 million deal. But there will be, especially in this draft, because this is not a good quarterback draft, somebody's going to do something stupid. Someone's going to do something desperate because these jobs, these GMs, these coaches, these owners, sometimes owners, guess what? We watched draft day here. For all of you guys asking yesterday, Cap and I queued up draft day right after the lunch hour. We had a plan, and you see the stupidity. I know it's fun and it's Hollywood, but you see the desperation from GMs because their asses are on the line. Just saw where the Bears are getting close to the deal with Arlington Heights. Any truth to that? By the way, the mayor's beyond crazy if he thinks he can help the Bears in Chicago. Yeah, look, Cap and I have been very consistent about this. The Bears are playing football in Arlington Heights. That's where it's happening. It's the best option. It's the best deal for the Bears. They're going to have to pony up some money. I know that $2 billion, I think, is what they originally offered. But if you think the state's funding a stadium that's going to cost over $5 million, I just don't see it happening. I just don't. Eric, one day before the draft, Guff, in my opinion, Bears should stay at 10. Don't trade up or trade back. Just stay where they are and see what happens. I would agree with you on that, Eric. But I'm not hesitant to trade back because if you think, like Connerly's a good example. I think, what was it, Cap? Was it 10 to 12? There's a big swing in Connerly's draftability. As high as 10, as low as 30. A guy like that, if they really like him and they can move down to 15 and acquire this year's 1, an extra 2, and maybe something next year, a 3rd or something, I'd do that because the player you like is going to be there. And if not, a player like him will. I'm with you. I prefer just to stay at 10 if all of the calls are that desperate. The Bears are looking for an extra 1, it sounds like right now, to trade out of the 10 and move back. So we'll just have to see. Saw somewhere Bush moving back to his natural 3rd. The Masham Ballesteros called up to play first. Let's roll 15+ a game coming. Who's the best left tackle in the draft? Take him. Pulls. That would be Campbell. But he's probably going to New England at 4. He did say today that the Bears told him if they drafted him, he would be a left tackle because there's some people who are worried about the short arms. I'm not one of them. And they would push him inside to guard, which, by the way, if you do and he just happens to be a great 10-year player, so be it. Erica says, I'm with you and Cap all the way. Stay at 10, draft a left tackle. Let's also not forget we have 2 second-round picks and a draft that's very deep in talent, Erica. 39 and 41 are extremely valuable. Lip Ripper says, Bears need to stay at 10. I would love to trade spots with the Dolphins at 13 who could panic for a quarterback. How much longer do you think Tua stays healthy? Wilson as a backup might need a quarterback. But they just signed Tua to a huge deal. Was it last year? 2 years ago? David coming in with DFA Andrew Vaughn. It's not going well. Hope you're doing well today, Guff. Ganja Man, I'm assuming that you're doing just fine, my friend. Trade for Arenado today. Sherman, harder than you think. It sounded like in the preseason from what we heard that those two teams, the Cardinals and Cubs, would not get together for some type of deal. There might be a Cardinal tax, but you're going to have to take on some of that money. Cooler heads may prevail. Let the Cardinals start their slide, which they've done, by the way. Let the Cardinals kind of get into their funk. They're playing right now. They're up 1-0 against Atlanta in the 7th. But the Cardinals, they did win last night. They're 4-6 their last 10. They're a game back of last place in the NL Central. And I know you Cub fans love to hear that. It's starting to look a lot like they're going to trade up, and I don't like it. Not enough draft capital trading away, in my opinion, but we'll see, says Swayze. I will caution you with this. Teams want to hear their names right now. It could be a lot of smoke and mirrors. You get the teams like the Cowboys panicking behind you that the Bears want to trade up. The Bears might not want to trade up. They start floating names out there that, wait, what do you mean you're taking this guy? Where'd that come from? That's what happens in the 24 hours leading up to the draft. Hey, Guff, coming to you from the draft. Bears will be the surprise team of the first round. Dustin, if that's true, I hope it's for a good surprise. I hope it's a good surprise. Becky, are you worried about Shota at all? Not really. Look at the teams he's faced. Shota has been really good. Let's talk. Let's Shota get to mid-June. If he's struggling in mid-June, then let's talk. Landon, Robert, Vaughn, and Vargas represent 3 of the 5 lowest batting averages in baseball among qualified hitters. Jacob Maya, who I don't know how I honestly don't know how he's still here. He's hitting 058, his 10 at-bats from qualifying. Embarrassing. But the fact, it's one thing to be Jacob Maya, Landon. It's another to be Luis Robert, Andrew Vaughn, and Miguel Vargas. Those guys with that talent, all of them were top 100. All of them were top 25 prospects at some point. And they're amongst the worst in baseball in batting average. Great. Can't believe the way the national media ignores Kyle Tucker. Everything is Soto and Judge and the usual suspects because this guy doesn't bat flip or hot dog it. No. You just named 2 guys that are in New York. Hey, Godfather, don't get pissed that the national media is not talking about Kyle Tucker the way they are about Judge and Soto. Let them keep pumping those guys. And the Cubs will keep scoring runs and beating everyone's ass. Okay? Just focus on what's in front of you here and let everybody else catch up later because that's what will happen. Swayze's salivating at what the Cubs could be with better pitching. They're not far from being the best team in the National League. I'm to the point now where I think they need to get at least 2 relievers and a starter. I mean, if you don't get another bat, fine. Your offense is your offense. Josh, dear Tom, extend Kyle Tucker, please. Thank you, Josh. Lip, 4 for 7 all over in my NHL goal scores. Hey, I was keeping track of that, man. When Kachuk got that goal, I'm like, I got to look up Lip Ripper's parlay. Tonight, I'm rocking with McCarr from the Avs, Rantanen from the Stars, and Hyman from the Oilers. I like that we're only going with 3. Cap and I and some other friends missed a monster parlay. We needed the Oakland A's money line to cash in a 40-1 hit. Didn't happen, but we're drawing closer. We're drawing closer. I know it's early, but what would you think about Ryan Helsley would be up for the trade at the deadline? I think the Cubs could really use him. I just think it's too early to speculate on specific names for teams we just don't know where they're going to be yet. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to poo-poo that. Ian Happ officially evolved into Dexter Fowler. Wow. It's a big Dexter Fowler, by the way, at the game last night, at the walk-off on the field shortly after. Let's bottle up whatever the Cubs special sauce is, no doubt. How aggressive will the Cubs be at the deadline? I think they'll be aggressive before and during the deadline. Very. I hope the Bears are a playoff team this year. I need at least one team of mine to be in the playoffs. I don't forget those Northwest Portage Hooters. I'm gonna pump that Portage Hooters. Commanders are getting a new stadium in D.C. It's going to keep happening, folks. Part of that ownership group that bought the Commanders. That was part of the deal. If the Cubs continue this run into late June, do they go all in? Will they be willing to part ways with their top prospects for another starter, reliever, or third baseman? I do think so. I honestly do. Eli says he called Cap and Jay Hood yesterday. I said the package will be in last place next year. Blue chip players. All right. Well, good for you calling in from Jerusalem. That's awesome. Calling it now. Bears move up and get Genty. Johnson loves Genty. Dustin, that's the surprise of the first round. I like Ashton Genty a lot. I don't like sacrificing. I don't know. Again, I would not do that. But you can hold and save these receipts. It's fine by me because I think the Bears have way more pressing needs. Jason, good afternoon. The Bears should draft Genty if he's at 10. Different story if he's at 10. Different story if he's at 10. It's one of the best talents in the draft. The only player I would trade up for is Carter. It sounds like there's virtually no scenario at this point that Ashton Genty's there at 10. It just, the more we read about it, the Jaguars have now gotten, he's actually right now, he's favored to go 5th overall. He's minus money to go 5th overall. Well, Pablo, I know he can't chime in because he can't see, but it is time for our bet of the day. And it's always fun when the bet of the day cashes in the first inning, because that's what happened yesterday. I was all over that Cubs team total. The Aviators are on today, folks. The Aviators are on because we cashed early. The Dodgers get a 3 spot in the first. Cubs answer with a 5 spot in the second. We cashed the over 3.5. Relatively easy fashion. I'm going to start keeping track here. You see the record at 46, 44, and 2 in April, right around the 500 mark. We're kind of just up and down. We're 7-9 in April. We're 1-1 this week. Ty Jerome going NBA playoffs tonight, over 14.5 points and assists. He soared past this number in game 1. Now, no 2 games look the same in the NBA playoffs. So I'm not just saying run to the book and cash it already, because it's not that easy. But in the games he played down the stretch, Ty Jerome was over this number in every single one of them. He didn't play the last 2 regular season games. The 3 regular season games prior to that soared past this number. Okay. He had 28 points in game 1. So 28 points. So do I expect him to have 28 points tonight? No, he was 10 of 15 from the field, 5 of 8 from 3. He did have 3 assists. So he had 31. He went way over this number. But listen to the games leading up to the playoffs. 24 points, 6 assists. That's 30. 18 points, 5 assists. 20 points, 2 assists. Just in points alone, he soared over this number. I'm laying it tonight. 6:30 tip. There's a lot of things I like tonight. I really like the under in the Rockets and Golden State Warriors game. Hard for me not to keep. There's 2 things it's hard for me right now not to keep riding. The Chicago Cubs team total over, which is 4.5, and the White Sox team total under, which is 3.5. I've told you guys, as long as they keep offering the White Sox at 3.5, you bet it. And maybe Sunday happens. Sunday happens where they get 8 runs. I've cashed that thing single-handedly time and time and time again. And Andrew Benintendi has a ball, smokes it into the gap. It looks like runs are going to score. Great catch. Boom. Cash again. I'm not rooting for the White Sox not to score here, folks. That's not what I'm doing. I want the White Sox to win every game. But I'm looking at, when we're putting bets together, this is about finding the best plays, finding loopholes in the lines. I think there's one here with Ty Jerome. There's a couple of things. We'll put a parlay together, no doubt, later, because that's what Cap and I like to do. A couple more here before we go. Edgar, good afternoon. When do you think the White Sox will be contenders again? I don't think it's any time before 2027. And I know that sucks to say, but unfortunately, I think that is where we're at. Aviator, sorry for any possible typos. I can't see, says Pablo. You are awesome. Clyde, don't be correcting him. The guy's got pupils that are dilated right now. Let's go. Tommy, my bad, but still it's vital to be able to run the ball. They need to run the ball. I don't think DeAndre Swift's all that horrible, but when you have, here's where I'm at. If you told me Ashton Genty was a great running back, right? 1,400-yard running back, and the depth behind him in this draft was nil, I might feel differently about it. I just think you're playing from a position of strength right now, and you have other needs. Lip, haven't watched much Cavs basketball, but let's ride it. Betting against the Sox is free money. It certainly has been of late. This has been the REKAP Lunch Hour. Remember, reminder for tomorrow. Reminder. 7 p.m. tomorrow. Cap, myself, Alex Brown will be with you at 7 p.m. We will be bringing you live coverage of the NFL draft. Make us a second screen experience. Make us a first screen experience and have the draft on in the background. We will go pick by pick. And Ryan Poles said it's going to be wild. So let's be here for the wild. Lakeside Bank is on board, a proud partner of our REKAP Football Draft Night live. Cap, myself, Alex Brown, 7 p.m. tomorrow. I will pump the hell out of it on social. And certainly tomorrow in the REKAP Lunch Hour, we will be getting after it as we try to predict what the hell is going to happen in this year's NFL draft. For everybody here at the REKAP, I'm Ryan McGuffey. It's been the REKAP Lunch Hour brought to you by our partners at Hooters. Visit originalhooters.com and find one of the 11 Chicagoland locations. Have a great day. Take care of yourself. We'll see you tomorrow.